A train ride to Japan's past. If you want to keep glorious Japan content up, there's a really good doc on some of the top luxury trains across the country. Oh my god. Okay, so we showed Japanese wrongs, and now we're going to show Japanese rights.
Getting around in Japan means taking the train.
Why are the subtitles automatically Indonesian? What
Because Japan is a veritable railway hub. Significance granting reassurance. Have I seen and done everything? The hustle and bustle and throngs of people.
Yes, everybody. People living in New York. This is called cleaning the railway system, okay? It's a normal part of everyday commutes that civilized nations engage in. It's very weird, I know. You're probably like, what is that? What is cleaning? Is that something they did in the 80s, the last time? Yes, it is how this works.
In Hakata station are typical of a Japanese metropolis. But there is no chaos, with everything moving along in an orderly fashion. Showing discipline in public is a highly regarded virtue. And everything everywhere is constantly getting wiped down, because cleanliness also takes top priority.
That's weird.
Hakata Station is the train station in the city of Fukuoka, which grew together out of two different cities and lies in the south of Japan, in the country's most economically robust region. Trade activities with the Asian mainland are particularly active here. At the feet of the towering buildings, there are also...
Another feature unique to Japan, karoshi, working yourself to death. My friend, that's not just unique to Japan. We don't get the cool shit. This is like also a capitalist dystopia where people commit regularly, feel some of the worst impacts of social alienation, social isolation. You know, this is where you have like the famous mega incels, you know what I mean? Except Americans also do that, but they don't even get like the cool stuff. You can't even buy a cigarette from a vending machine, okay?
Little markets.
Yeah, hikikomori's.
This one sells green tea and, of course, a lot of fish.
And also, another added bonus is our incels have access to easily accessible, broadly available weapons, okay? So then they turn around and like commit mass shootings too. In Japan, they just like, you know, if they decide to finally go outside and touch grass, they go to the forest. Here in America, they literally buy an AR-15 and go to school.
Whale meat is also available. But of course, this delicacy is consumed exclusively for scientific purposes. The evening traffic in Fukuoka is not just commuters heading home, because a little tradition has been preserved here. Starting around 5 p.m, you see more and more unusual trailers being pulled down the streets and lining the sidewalks. Yatais are being set up here. In the evening, the city's ambience becomes a bit more relaxed, with people going out after work. They head to yatais, which are little mobile restaurants that are always set up in the early evening and then disappear.
In Japan, sometimes incels will murder women with knives, but yeah, mostly just
again at night.
I have a speculation, dude. And that is that if you're an incel, at least you have public transportation. So you get into a train and you're like, okay, this is no longer, I've lost my murderous intent.
But he prefers running a yatai.
Of course, just like in any other business, there are bad times. But people from all kinds of different fields of work come to visit my yatai. There are the parliamentarians at the top and the ordinary office workers at the bottom. I see that and think, That's pure humanity here in my yatai. It has made quite an impression on me.
Only once the guests have spent the evening in good company is it time to head home. Then a second rush hour begins. The next morning we leave the city and its 1.5 million residents on a local train. Japan is crisscrossed with rail lines. There are two networks, the standard gauge network for high-speed Shinkansen trains and the narrow gauge used for local and express trains.
Didn't friend of the show, Alan Richardson, say that Shinkansen and the California High-Speed Railway project started functionally at the same time? And that Japan actually followed through on it, whereas California didn't? Like, it was pitched at the same time, no? Or did I misunderstand that in the video? That is the grossest fact about America. No, he compared them on a coastal basis? On a cost basis? Oh, Shinkansen started in the 60s. Never mind. My bad. I misunderstood that. Japan has the lowest murder rate in the world with 0.2 murders per year. It's because the trains are managed by private companies. The competition keeps things good. Yeah. Trap Lord Hokage. Yeah, no. Privatization is the reason. And no regulation whatsoever. Yeah. In America, we got Domino's fixing potholes, brother. You are thinking of China's system? No, maybe. Keyword just banned? Trap Lord? You think I should ban someone for having Trap Lord in their name? You think trap is exclusive to, like, the anti-trans slur? Like, are you serious? What the f? Chatter thought Trap Lord is transphobic. Moving to Japan soon, can I mail you a tiny train model? Why, to flex on me, dude?
Trains with a track width of just one.
Chatters be like, why are you bringing on Felix Biederman from that transphobic podcast? Chapo Trap House? That is very transphobic. Trap Lore Ross? No, we can't watch that. That is the whitest take I've ever heard from someone, dude.
1,067 millimeters. Far removed from the big city hustle and bustle, the town of Yame is known for its traditions and still has many old buildings, a rarity in Japan. And it is also home to one of Japan's oldest lantern makers. At this workshop, each lantern is made by hand, in line with a tradition stretching back over 200 years.
Bro, this is the thing I don't understand. How do these motherfuckers, like, live, dude? This is one of those things where I'm just like, I watch some shit like this and I'm always like, how are you surviving? Like, who's buying the lanterns, dude? Japan has turned, like, Etsy shops into just 700-year-old traditions. You know what I mean? It's wild to be like all the you know, tender queer Etsy shop owners would make a killing in Japan. Literally, it's just like half of their economy revolves around making this stuff, okay?
The shop has even made a name for itself in Hollywood, with its creations featured in several films.
It's like selling Girl Scout cookies professionally. Yeah, literally.
Yes, it's paper after all, which wrinkles easily. You have to play with it a bit and hide the wrinkles. If you apply the paper evenly, the wrinkles aren't as noticeable later. Here, where I glued the two paper strips together, if the gap ends up being too wide or crooked when I cut off the rest, it looks weird.
This is crazy, dude. The only capitalist tradition on this broadcast is the top of the hour ad break, you know what I mean? Which is also a 700-year-old tradition in which I serve you the top of the hour ad break, and if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free. Bro, by the way, time flies, okay? I cannot believe it's already time for another ad break. That's crazy to me. It has been like, I feel like I just served you one literally a minute ago. Especially when we look at good ass videos. But yeah, at the top of the hour, the main tradition in the HasanAbi broadcast is subscribing for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime, or getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's the 1 minute ad break now.
The most important thing is the paintwork, which the boss tends to himself. This act is almost contemplative.
A lot of their lanterns are used in the many festivities that Japan has. Some where you float lanterns where you can see thousands, or put on water, tons of things.
Just a few doors down, there is another shop boasting a long tradition, where Kenichi Konomi sells Yame's famous green tea. This business also dates back several hundred years, and is actually more than a mere store. It's an old trading house. Green tea used to be something very special, attracting customers from all over Japan, who were welcomed and hosted here. Kenichi Konomi wants to pursue this tradition.
Green tea actually used to be more of a delicacy. Nowadays, much larger quantities are being churned out because the tea used to be harvested by hand, meaning that only relatively low volumes could be produced. It was thus a highly valued good that, of course, came at a price to match.
A shrine to one's ancestors is an integral part of any traditional house, and Kenichi Konomi also observes this tradition. We leave the quiet tea shop and head to a very lively museum.
This isn't just
Actually,
about a train ride. It's a train ride into Japan's past, chatter. So it's not just about trains, but also about, it's like my Pokimane shrine. What do you think about traditions? It's great if you, dude, I think traditions are awesome. Like, I don't have a problem with it at all. It's just that, like, you know, your traditions shouldn't revolve around, like, you know, killing black people and stuff. Like, unfortunately, America's traditions, well, Japanese traditions are pretty fucking weird too in a lot of different ways. But like, if we're talking about like heritage and like, you know, shared cultural values that revolve around art and stuff, then yeah, it's great. But a lot of instances, yeah, America's heritage, not hate, brother, take revolves around like upholding white supremacy and stuff. Now, Japan also is like deeply xenophobic, obviously. And apparently one of their traditions is also eating shark fins. But this kind of stuff is chill. Why the fuck would I hate that?
Each autumn, the whole town assembles to put on an...
Here's the most American version of this, okay? So Kyoto is where a lot of the traditional kimono manufacturers reside, okay? Here, I'll show you exactly what I mean. Japanese people love when foreigners, you know, come and buy their kimonos and shit, right? They love that shit. It literally, quite literally, revitalized the industry in Kyoto. But in America, our tradition is being like, oh, that's really fucked up. You should not wear a kimono. It's cultural appropriation. That's a good example of like American. How do you know all this? You kind of a weeb or something? No, because at the peak of like the SJW BuzzFeed manspreading era, I made the mistake of being a leftist on the internet who wore a fucking kimono, and then people try to cancel me and said I was a piece of shit for wearing a kimono because it's like you know, cultural appropriation. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. And so at first I was like, wait, let me look into this. Like, is this actually fucked up? And then I found out that, like, no, Japanese people love that shit. Opium, not a weeb.
Old puppet show. Everyone has a role in this theatre, which is made entirely of wood and held together without nails or screws. The structure has been set up and dismantled again for 300 years.
People also said the same thing about your Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, dude. I mean, that too. I know.
Yes.
At the very bottom level, the threads of the puppet are controlled. And in the second level, their rods are controlled.
It's Japanese Americans you should ask, not random people in Japan who never have to really interact with the American system. Yeah, dude. No, I won't. You know why? Because I don't respect Americans, okay? That's it. Like, that's it. The moment that you become Americanized, I don't respect you. I don't care about your perspective, okay? Doesn't matter if you're Japanese American. You have been Americanized, so it doesn't matter. There you go. That's my take. Because Japanese Americans are American and not
The
Japanese.
piece is about a young prince going on a pilgrimage to a temple, but the plot is rather beside the point. The people are here to celebrate traditional puppetry. It takes entire teams to move the figures. The lantern maker Hiroki Ito is also involved. The text of the play is in Old Japanese.
You heard it, boys, get your fezzes on. Not a single Turkish person, which, first of all, there's an entire law that banned wearing fezzes. So it's kind of funny that you're saying that, like, oh, fez is like something that Turkish people wear now. But not a single Turkish person, if it was like technically Turkish, would ever get mad at that in America. Okay? Turkish people have not Americanized in the higher quantities in the same way that, like, mass immigration from countries like Japan and China have. Okay? There aren't enough like third generation Turks and a Turkish diaspora for Turks to cry about shit like that yet. That is an American invention. And chatters are also saying, like, well, yeah, Japanese people are not victim to the anti-Asian racism of what? Wearing a kimono? Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. You will never get me to agree with you on that take. Straight up. Internment camps. Yeah, dude, that's what it is. Like, you're actually, like, cultural appropriation in the form of, like, black hairstyles, for example, still being banned. Natural hair still being banned in schools, while white people, like, promoting it and commoditizing it and making money off of it is one thing. But, like, you're not getting banned if you wear a kimono to school. You know what I mean? There is no, like, historic precedent for wearing a kimono and you being owned for it. So stop trying to tie it back into, like, other systemic oppression. Yes, internment camps do exist, okay? And it did exist throughout history, especially for Japanese people. I get it. But, like, that is completely removed from wearing a kimono. It is stupid. It's a stupid argument. It's, of course, also, it's a stupid argument, and that's precisely why people love having it. Like, that's like the reason why people love talking about that. If you're willing to learn about the culture, it's not appropriation. This is why Snoop Dogg and Chet Hanks get no love. They took from the culture without understanding shit about it. Looking at you, UK, yep, the dog shit Snoop line arc. Okay? It's a weird thing. It's like a weird thing that people try to compare or, like, try to tack onto. And it's very odd. It's a very odd thing that people search. Something I think it's just like a hysterical part of liberal culture.
Which is difficult even for modern Japanese people to understand. The performances are held only once a year in the autumn. The next leg of our journey is also a sort of performance. First, we go back to Hakata Station.
We have this exact same puppet culture, by the way, as someone in the chat pointed out. Hacivat Karagöz. We literally have a nearly identical puppet culture in Turkey as well. There's a kebab, like a high upscale. I remember in Ankara, there was a upscale kebab restaurant that we used to go to as kids, where they would literally do the puppet show. I forget what it was called, but yeah.
Board the train by simply heading to the platform. Before taking a trip on the 7 stars, you enjoy a reception in a dedicated lounge. This train exudes an early 20th century atmosphere. The tickets are ceremoniously punched by hand, making for elegant collectibles.
Kukui kebab,
And the
yeah.
entire crew introduces themselves one by one.
Wait, what the fuck is this?
Finally, Japan's first modern luxury train is readied for departure.
Oh, dude.
Cleaned
Oh,
by
fuck.
hand
Oh, my
before
God.
each trip to make the paint
Oh, my
resemble a
God.
dark mirror.
7 stars is a luxury train? Oh, my God.
The train is meant to be somewhat reminiscent of the Orient Express, with the 7 cars only able to accommodate 30 passengers, but with every conceivable luxury.
Oh, my
The
God.
attendant explains each button, taking special care to point out the difference between the flushing mechanism and the alarm button.
Oh, my God, dude.
The toilet's control panel has its share of bells.
Okay, never mind. You don't have to unblur dicks and pussies and porn. This is already unblurred, so it's worth it. It's worth it. You know, there's a give and take to these things. You gotta have a delicate balance.
And whistles.
It's non-stop. Just a call to the lounge.
Fine ceramics join a refined light design.
Also, the light button here. It's like you can adjust.
I see.
Okay. Yes. And this one.
This is insane.
It's nearly time for departure, and the train doesn't simply get whistled off.
Is Japan too good? It needs to be taken down a peg or two. Yeah, dude. America thought that. It wasn't good. It was bad, actually. So that happened already.
The departure is a little show of its own. Everything is recorded, with photos being taken.
Dude, more importantly, they have instilled in their population a respect for these big boys, okay? Like, look at that. They respect it. That's what I was talking about with China, too. All those, like, little kids, like, going to a new line opening, you know what I mean, at 5 a.m., to be like, oh, my God, there's a new line. How sick is that? Like, that's what I'm talking about, dude. Same shit. They respect it.
People taking photos. It is typical of the Japanese to wave until the train is out of sight.
Dude, I get it. Read what
We leave the city.
Emhut said. 5,400 USD for 4 days. Oh my God, that's so expensive. I would get canceled,
Reflected from the
dude.
star is part of the plan.
Oh my God,
because
it's worse
the stars of Kyushu have to glisten.
It's so worth it.
We head out into the countryside. Lunch is about to be served on the train, with chefs from the 7 prefectures of Kyushu on board, preparing exquisite meals.
I would do all manner
Dining
of cultural
in the correct
appropriation
order
at
is
that point. I
crucial
would just
for
like max
proper
out on all
enjoyment.
my cancellations.
And of course, a few introductory words.
Have a pleasant meal and feel free to ask us any questions.
Hasan, you're showing us stuff we would love to have but can never afford. First of all, dummy, maybe not this luxury train, but we could technically afford all of these trains that I'm showing you, okay? Maybe not you individually with the luxury train, but every other type of thing that they showed you is literally not even fancy. We could afford it and more, except, you know, we decided to have a car-reliant infrastructure instead of public transit, okay?
The train makes only brief stops, and at one of them, we meet the 7 Star's biggest fan. Kunohiro Tashiro stands at almost every platform where the train stops.
Wow.
He has yet to actually take the train, but he still loves it. The
See?
city's mascots also make an appearance. When the 7 Stars arrives, railway stations come to life. Tashiro
Look at
has
that, dude. Look at that. They venerate they venerate people who are neurodivergent in Japan, okay? Instead of belittling them. Do you see that? This is what we need in America. We don't have this, okay? It's the land of the free if you're autistic, okay?
made his passion for the 7 stars into his profession and now works at the train station.
I like the design and how it draws so many guests to our area, the city of Kanzaki in Saga Prefecture.
The luxury train has only been around since 2013, and its Japanese designers were inspired by the luxury trains of the Belle Epoque. The 7 Stars moves at a markedly slow pace and mostly sticks to the scenic route. In Japan, such cross-country rail journeys are not just pleasant excursions with fine dining, they have an almost philosophical aim.
HasanAbi doesn't know how fucked up Japan was, the ASD people? Wait, really? I don't know. Don't ruin it for me, okay?
So, as I already said this morning in the 7 Stars Gold Lounge, the 7 Stars concept consists of the following 3 points. Firstly, it gives passengers with the time and space for them to reflect on their past lives and generate new ideas for their future in peace and quiet, while letting the outside landscape pass by through the window. Secondly, we also aim to give our passengers new experiences as they think about their lives. Finally, the third point is for our passengers to have new encounters with us, our crew, and the people of Kyushu. I feel it is very important to enable our passengers to have these 3 experiences.
Offering a train ride without an actual destination, with the sole aim of pleasantly meandering past nice scenery, was initially seen as an economic risk. There are now several different luxury trains making their way through Japan, and these exorbitant excursions are consistently sold out. In
That's
this veritable
insane, dude.
hotel
That
on
looks
wheels,
beautiful.
the dining car turns into a cocktail bar in the evening.
Ever seen Train to Busan? Bet you wouldn't want trains then. Train to Busan, ironically, is one of my favorite movies. Probably my favorite, like, zombie movie. Literally, incredible movie. So, no, you failed, okay? Snowpiercer I didn't like originally, but then I actually learned to love it, even though I think Train to Busan is great. As far as, like, train movies goes, you know what I mean?
While cocktails are being served on the 7 Stars, you have the opportunity to reflect on your past and future, as recommended by the crew manager. This concept hasn't really gained traction in European trains. We disembark from the 7 Stars, and the next morning, we board the Yufuin no Mori, another very special train.
Oh my God, so many
Here
special
too,
trains.
passengers enjoy special attention on this special train with a normal ticket
Darjeeling
price.
Limited was a good train movie as well.
The train is specially designed for enjoying the view, and the seats and windows are particularly high up.
Demon Slayer train.
You can look over the
was not
conductor's
that
shoulder
good.
in the cabin with its big windows.
It was all right, but it wasn't my favorite. The
We're
Moving
heading for a
Express, it wasn't
particularly
that good.
popular vacation region in Kyushu.
It didn't really showcase the train that much, and the train turned out to be evil in and of itself. So or was taken over. Spoiler alert. So I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like what they did with the with the train in the end. Okay, disappointing.
The train is named after the hot springs resort Yufuin, and because it passes through dense forest areas, it was painted green. Unlike in the 7 Stars, however, you have to stand in line in the Yufuin no Mori to get your meal.
Oh my God, there's a Japanese train movie with Brad Pitt coming out. There's literally a. By the way, there's literally a a train movie with like assassins with Brad Pitt in the train and fighting like assassins and shit in there. It looks so sick. Bullet Train. Yeah, I forgot. I saw that. My mouth was watering when I saw it on as an intro to Top Gun. And Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's in it. Yeah, that's gonna be sick. Anyway, let's finish this train shit
it's
though
a
first.
Special
Okay.
treat. This bento box was specially designed for the train.
That's
Food on trains has a tradition of its own, because the trains here don't usually have dining cars. Instead, passengers can buy bento boxes
That's
at the train
insane.
stations, or, like here, in the train.
the only problem I have with Japan
They
is
seem to
seafood.
hit the spot. The forest is becoming increasingly dense.
That's the only
as
issue
route
I have is
passes
that I
through
don't
narrow
eat
river
seafood. That's
valleys.
it.
The mountainous interior is less populated than the coastal regions.
Grow up. Okay, shut up, chatters.
Here too, getting your picture taken on the train is part of the experience. The guests quickly grab a stamp, as souvenirs from a trip are a must for any Japanese traveler. And every special train and many sites offer
Dude, they
commemorative
love.
stamps.
Dude, this is respecting trains. Taken to the.
Upon arrival in
This is
Yufuin,
fucking
almost
fire,
all
dude.
the passengers photograph each other to remember their brief stay.
Everybody made fun of me because I took a photo with the Long Island Railroad, and here Japanese people do that, and no one makes fun of them. Truly, the superior country. Obviously, they should have nuked us instead. Honestly, they should have nuked some sense into us. That's what should have happened. Okay, instead of the other way around.
Or they take a hot foot bath. There is steam rising everywhere, as Yufuin is famous for its hot springs. And its weather phenomena are impressive, with the sky hosting a real spectacle. Up in the mountains, the hot springs trickle out in plain sight, and you might almost feel a bit uneasy with all this volcanic activity.
Wait, Hasan, ooh, are we people again?
It's like a
What?
volcanic egg cooker here.
How many times do we have to apologize as Japanese
A
Americans for
shrine,
existing?
about
It's hard to be
400 years
Japanese
old,
American.
shows
What?
that nature here can be anything but harmless. Little sacrifices are meant to
Don't worry
calm
about
the forces of nature. The Sanson Murota Resort is dedicated to ancient Japanese garden and living culture. An onsen is a Japanese thermal bath. But that's too dry of a description
See,
for
that chatter would be so much better if we had a high-speed rail system. That's all I'm going to say, okay?
what's offered to guests here. The bath is deliberately kept simple. You lie down inside and enjoy the hot water. Nobody here would even think of making a bubble bath out of it, because for the Japanese, this would be tantamount to sacrilege.
My God.
There is even a traditional fireplace in the suite. The meal is celebrated as if it were almost a religious ritual. This is just one course of many.
ありがとうございます。それはしております。
Oh.
でそのお隣が焼きナス寄せでございまして、それ焼きナスを使ったお豆腐でございます。あ、はい。
Passengers receive a detailed explanation about how to eat what.
あとカボス釜といってカボスを使った器の中に、果物の柿とほうれん草の
It's a welcome break from the hustle of everyday Japanese life.
かやだを作り
Yeah, I would
Next
eat
morning,
only
we're back
Wagyu.
at it
No
again,
fucking,
on
no,
a
no
little
seafood
local
for me,
train,
but hey,
getting
what
ready
are you gonna
to
do, you know?
depart. Our trip is taking us toward the Aso region. This little side route leads into the crater area of the Mount Aso volcano. It is often the sparsely
The what
frequented
area?
lines that reveal the most beautiful landscapes. The fares are displayed on board, and here almost exclusively residents from the area take the local trains. We reach the small town of Bungo Taketa, which has two special things about it. Passengers are welcomed with an old folk song. And the person in charge here is a cat. The official head of the
Oh,
station.
dude, chat. It's over. I know this community. They just won. This video just won the entire community over, straight up.
In Bungo Taketa is named Nya. Having a cat as a station manager is perhaps indicative of a certain easygoing approach to life. Maybe you need it in this area too, because we're approaching one of the most active volcanoes in Japan.
Don't give this cat any clout. It has crushed multiple unions.
The Aso area was declared a national park back in 1934, making the Aso Kuju National Park the oldest in Japan. The volcano, spewing ash and smoke, towers in the background. Mount Aso is a volcano with adentive craters, and its caldera extends across 380 square kilometers, within which lies the city of Aso and extensive fertile land. This is the Nabagataki waterfall, and the national park is famous for its streams and gorges. The volcanic rock is hollowed out, meaning you can view the water streaming down from behind.
But wait, what happens if it erupts? Like, are people living in Arso just like they're GGs? Like, I don't understand. How are you not laughing at arsehole, Hasan? Did you lose your childhood innocence already? First of all, I did, and I'm trying not to because I'm a professional streamer. Okay, bad things, Hasan.
Water plays a big role for people here. In Aso, there is a restaurant situated below a small spring and built around many fountains.
The rain that fell in Aso 30 or 50 years ago penetrated deep into the earth and is now emerging again as spring water. And it's the best water you can imagine. The water temperature is 13.5 degrees Celsius, so it is also very good for cooling.
Hideo Kinoshita offers little traditional dishes here.
What the fuck?
These are shiratama dango, little rice balls. They are made from rice that has been around in Japan for a long time. The odango, which are made from sweet sticky rice and eaten after being chilled with water like here, taste the best. In Japanese culture, a great deal of emphasis is placed on celebrating the seasons. Such clear water like here is pleasantly refreshing in the summer. And when you fish somen noodles out of this water and eat them, it's a playful and fun experience. It speaks to our souls and minds, which take joy in the seasons. That's what nagashi somen are.
Eating cold noodles from a bamboo stem is also a way to celebrate food, a piece of Japanese tradition. And for their part, Japanese people have no trouble fishing the noodles out of the water.
Bro, this shit is fire, dude. What the fuck?
Here, contemplation and quirkiness sometimes merge. The whole town is full of little fountains. Everything here seems very idyllic, but the idyllic scenery is fragile, with a severe earthquake rocking the area in 2016.
I've never seen it on
The
Animal
famous
Crossing because I never
Aso
played Animal
Temple
Crossing.
was also partially destroyed.
No, I love cold noodles. I love
Japan
cold
is
noodles,
a country of
but
contrasts.
I've never had it coming down like a fresh water stream. I'm sorry. Why are you guys acting like you literally have cold noodles coming down from fresh water streams all the time? Just because you played Animal Crossing? Is that why? Shut the fuck up, chatter.
With excited passengers getting their must-have selfies, while the Hitoyoshi steam train waits at Kumamoto Station. The special train is an attraction in Kyushu, especially since the Japanese don't get much vacation time, making short outings quite popular. In Kyushu, people have discovered the appeal of special trains. It all started with the luxurious 7 stars, and now nearly every region has its own train.
Dude, they also have a horrible
Each
work
of the trains
culture, but
has
guess
its own
what,
character,
dude?
meant to exude more
At least they got
nostalgia than
trains.
luxury, and with cars boasting an old-fashioned but completely modernized design.
I do love the fucking, like the little village.
The route takes passengers through the Kuma River Valley, following
damn,
the course of the
dude.
river for about 2.5 hours.
Horribly sexist in classes. I don't give a dude. I don't give a Do you understand? I don't give a brother. Coomer Valley.
The car with the viewing window reveals majestic scenery.
God damn, look at all this shit.
The train is driven by the oldest, still operational steam locomotive in Japan, built in 1922. But the view outside is the main attraction. The Kuma River is one of the fastest flowing waterways in the country. However, it is also dammed in some places. This route used to be one of the most important transit corridors to the south. Now,
That's so
however,
sick.
it is mostly local trains, and of course, the steam train giving herons a start. We will reach Hitoyoshi in just a moment, where passengers are welcomed by a big name in Japanese gastronomy. Toyomi Shobu has been selling bento boxes containing local delicacies for 50 years.
There's almost nothing but mountains here, you see? This area is great for collecting chestnuts, which are a specialty here. They're an absolutely local product, grown and prepared here. The ayu freshwater salmon also come from the Kuma River here and are famous.
Bro, homie's been doing the same shit for 50 years. Much respect. He
Many
seems
people
so
come
happy.
here just to see Mr. Shobu, but he is now in his late 80s, and his wooden box is starting to get heavy for him. Can an icon like him just throw in the towel now?
Yes, I've been doing this for 50 years, so my physical strength isn't what it used to be,
God damn,
and I'm
he's
starting to
80
consider
years old.
retiring.
Bro, he looks healthier than the average 60-year-old American, dude. What the He's 80, dude. What is happening, dude? What's in the water, dude?
But my clients won't let me.
Age still means something in Japan. Hitoyoshi, along the Kuma River, is known not just for its hot springs. The city and its water are also famous for another Japanese product.
Cat ears.
Satoshi Yui crafts sochu here. Rice is used to produce a spirit also known as Japanese vodka.
Oh my god.
The rice is first cooked, then spread out finely, and afterwards a mold is added before the mixture is fermented, and then the brew is finally distilled. This tradition has been pursued here for around 200 years.
Here we are at the stage of production where the rice we let ferment overnight is taken out.
Here's a mini doc on the eldest ryokan traditional Japanese inn that's been run by the same family for 1,300 years. 1,300 years, dude? 1,300 years they've been running the same inn? That's the most Japanese thing I've ever heard, dude. It's only 12 minutes long, too. Bro, 1,300? What? What?
And we add yeast again. You then leave it to ferment a second time, making it stronger.
And what if the 200-year-old pitchers have a crack?
Here you can see little cracks, and here as well. We repair such cracks whenever possible, but you can see there was once a pitcher here too that completely broke apart. If they break completely, we have no choice but to throw them away.
Dating back even farther than the tradition of distilling sochu are the religious rites practiced in the Aoi Aso shrine, founded about 1,200 years ago. In autumn every year, the Okunchi festival takes place.
Shut the up. Kongogumi Corporation is a Japanese construction company, a long-established Japanese business. Shinise is the world's oldest continuously ongoing independent company and is currently the oldest known company overall, operating for over 1,400 years, dude. What the 1,400 years, brother. That's why Nintendo, Nintendo is, we thought Nintendo was insane. You know what I mean? For those of you who don't know, Nintendo was founded in 1889, okay? 1889. And I thought that shit was crazy. Turns out it's like, that's a baby. Nintendo is so young that other companies want to it, okay? That's crazy, dude. Okay, I can make some jokes. Jesus Christ. We said we're doing Japanese rights and Japanese wrongs, okay?
Place where traditional dances are performed in the evening. The seasons are depicted symbolically. The festival lasts several days. The next morning, nearly the entire town gathers at the temple, whose complete complex has been declared a National Cultural Heritage Site. The priests enter the temple, where the lions are already waiting. Today is their day.
This shit's fire.
The Okunchi festival could be compared to a harvest festival, as the harvest is blessed and the forces of nature invoked.
See, in America, when motherfuckers dress like that, the only heritage they're protecting is literally lynching black people. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. These guys are like, oh yeah, we're going to dress up like in cool outfits and stuff to love nature. In America, when you see someone dress up like that, you're like, uh-oh, hold on. What kind of heritage is this about? Oh, that's right. It's hate.
Then comes the performance everyone has been
Especially
waiting
because,
for.
like, we killed all the motherfuckers that used to do this for nature, okay? You know, we could have had this. We could have had this. We could have had this too if we didn't genocide the entire indigenous population.
The lions jump out of the temple. The lions bite children on the head, which is meant to bring them happiness and health. But not every child seems to grasp the concept. A festival is concluded with a parade. before we leave Hitoyoshi.
You had nothing to do with it? What do you mean we? That's literally culture across the board, idiot. What, you think that do you think the Japanese people have something to do with their traditions from like 7,000 years ago? Idiot. The royal we, okay? Bro said, shut your Turkish ass up, mother appropriating American crimes. Yeah, literally, dude.
Yoshi, we take a look at a clock in front of the train station.
I was talking about indigenous genocide. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about
A
American.
nobleman and his band appear to the sounds of a folk song. The little spectacle tells the story of a young prince who visits the festival in the town around his castle and partakes in all sorts of feasts. This sort of oddity is popular in Japan. The train disappears into the dense forests. These forests, almost impenetrable in places, characterize the landscape here as we continue onward to the south. Outside the cities, there is a great deal of untouched nature. This stretch of railway has a special feature in the middle of its layout, namely a double switchback. Here we've sped up the train a bit to better illustrate how it maneuvers its way through. The train has to switch back and forth twice in order to continue onward. In the middle of the switchbacks lie the little Okuba station, which isn't just known for the unusual track configuration.
Bro, I literally want to do this. Like, I want to do this entire video. This video is basically my dream Japan trip. Is like going on all the trains and you know, and looking at all the cool shit.
Many visitors come for a completely different reason. Countless business cards line the station's walls, and new ones are constantly being added. It is said that hanging your business card here in Okuba Station may boost your chances for a successful career. The train arrives in Kagoshima. Sakurajima looms over the cityscape. The volcano lies directly opposite Kagoshima and its 500,000 inhabitants. In this lively metropolis, the people aren't overly concerned by the volcano constantly spewing out ash. The trams seem a bit old-fashioned, but that doesn't mean public transport isn't efficient. Kagoshima is an old trading hub and the gateway to the world when Japan finally opened up. The city's mercantile tradition is embodied by the 17th century house of the aristocratic and entrepreneurial Shimatsu family. Southern Japan was long the only region in contact with the rest of the world, enabling great economic and political power to emerge here.
That's the only thing I don't f with is like paper doors and shit with no locks. You know what I mean? I need to jerk off. It's just not like that. That doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? But why are you guys throwing up huhs? Like, I'm right and you know it, dude. Everybody loves saying huh, but like, you know I'm right. How do people not ruin these things in Japan? I don't know. I bet. Yeah, you hear it across the estate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Isn't it hotter if some hot woman walks in and joins too? Are you serious? What are you talking about, dude? Now that's a ha moment, dude. What the?
The Shimatsu company still exists and produces measuring equipment and other industrial products.
It would be way too hard for me to not want to run through all those walls too. I feel like I would straight up try to like run through as many walls as I can. You know what I mean? It's just like, come on, I have to. You have to try. Yeah, Kool-Aid Man style, dude. Like I would want to I would want to like, you know, get a running start like Juggernaut and just shoulder my way through as many walls as I can.
The final leg of the journey away.
What's up, motherfucker? One person bathroom door unlocked at the diner and make me have to make eye contact before I go, oh my bad, bro. On when the paper door closes. Dude, what? This is not. Oh, Jesus, dude. This says more about you than anything else, that you like literally saved this screenshot from the stream. Okay? You have a bad brain, dude. Okay? You have literally a bad brain.
Waits to the southern tip of Kyushu. We will pass through Kagoshima and then continue onward along the sea, once again in a special train with big windows.
Japan Dick
The
Festival.
Ibusuki no Tamatibaku Limited Express has striking black and white paintwork. The white side always faces the sea and has the best view. Our final stop is at the southern tip of Japan, in the seaside resort of Ibusuki, also known as the Hawaii of Japan. Things are a bit quieter here. In the Hakuisekan thermal spa, there are even hot sand baths.
What the fuck?
The sand is heated up by hot springs.
You can get up again after about 10 to 15 minutes, or whenever you want.
Japan has always had two sides to it. On the one hand, there is the contemplative, quiet side that is also revealed in its many baths. And on the other hand, the hustle and bustle of its vibrant big cities.
Oh,
Our journey through southern
so good.
Japan is like looking through a kaleidoscope, with constantly changing impressions. And it ends at the sea, where our yearning gaze finally comes to rest.
This was such a chill ass video, dude. Holy shit. Top stories: giant Turkish man terrorizes local Japanese village. Another top story is the top of the hour ad break. Giant Turkish man terrorizes all chatters at the top of the hour ad break, but then tells all the chatters that they can avoid those ads as long as they subscribe for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. More content like that. It was so chill. Yeah, no, it was awesome. Can we get some candy before we go to the next segment? Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.